Hello, Cleveland. Welcome to Mock Draft Monday. I am your host, Anthony Joki. As always, got my co host, Jackson McCurry, alongside me. Today is Monday, February 3rd, and this is our fourth Mock Draft Monday. And we are really thankful for all the positive feedback that we had received on these Mock Draft Mondays. So we're certainly going to continue doing them. And this week, we wanted to do something a little bit different. So over on our Dawgland X account, we asked everybody who we should draft this week. Um, so we're going to go into this. We gave the options best quarterback available at number two, Abdul Carter, Travis Hunter, or trade down. Um, Best QB available, one with 32.5%. Just edging out Abdul Carter here at 31.3%. So when we go through this, Jack, we are drafting quarterback at number two. Um, this was our plan. Obviously, earlier today we had the Miles Garrett trade request. So we're not gonna like completely factor that into and change our plans for what we had ready to go today, but uh, we're not ignoring it. It's just we already had these plans ready to go. So, um, Jack, how we doing? We ready for another mock draft Monday here?
Absolutely. But Anthony, real quick, as I see on the screen, make sure you make it 7 rounds and then
I
put the
saw it
speed at
too.
fast.
All
Yep.
fast. I
Okay.
got you. Okay.
I'm doing well though. The Miles Garrett news obviously was not the best one to get while you're at work, and the look on my face, and my girlfriend asked me what was wrong. Kind of just told you what that meant to me as a Browns fan. But other than that, I'm good, man. How are you?
All things considering, it is what it is. I am going to Monday Night Raw tonight in Cleveland, so I'm excited for that. Especially
Nice.
after the Royal Rumble that was on Saturday night, which was incredible. Cleveland is the first stop on the road to WrestleMania, so um,
Ain't
you
that
know,
awesome?
as they tend to build towards WrestleMania, we are here building the Browns again in the draft. So
Might be rebuilding the Browns.
I really don't want to go through that again, but
I know. I'm sorry.
I know. I get it. All right. So we do have the Browns selected 7 rounds. So we are going to start this and see who goes number one to the Tennessee Titans. Not making a trade to start. All right. So they take Cam Ward. So that leaves us in terms of quarterbacks a couple options here. I will say only one, but we do have Shador Sanders. There's a handful of other quarterbacks, but I would imagine, um, based on where we're picking right now, Shador is going to be the pick. But there are some other guys that have kind of creeped up into first round conversation. Maybe not number two worthy, but guys like Jalen Milroe and Jackson Dart have kind of creeped into that first round conversation.
Yeah, I Jackson Dart, I even though I completely disagree with it, there's a lot of smoke out there with him being a first round quarterback, and he looked good at times during his Senior Bowl, the game. I got to watch parts of the game, and I know he was the best quarterback out of the bunch in Mobile last week. Jalen Milroe had a pretty down week in all intents and purposes, from having small hands, just not having very good accuracy in terms of the medium to short game. So he might fall out of the first round unless he electrifies the combine and somebody is crazy enough to pull the trigger on him. But yeah, I mean, seems like right now, definitely Ward and Sanders will be first round, and maybe Jackson Dart sneaks in there in the late first round.
Do you see any other quarterback sneaking into the first round out of this list here?
I would say no. I just think like there is flaws with each and every one of these quarterbacks behind Ward and Sanders, and even those guys have flaws of their own. But yeah, I can't see Gabriel or Howard or Quinn Ewers or any of these guys really sneaking into the late first round. I know the fifth year option is intriguing, but so is finding elite talent in other positions of need.
Yep. All right. So we'll take Shador Sanders here because that's what the poll said to do. So we're going to follow that and see where we end up at pick number 33. All right. So at pick number 33, we have a handful of options here. If they want to stick on offense, Colson Loveland, tight end, to pair up with David Njoku. Jack Beck, who had a great week down at the Senior Bowl, caught the game-winning touchdown pass. Great story after the tragedy that his family suffered. Um, Edge player Donovan Ezuraku, close
Something
maybe.
like that. Yeah.
Uh, Edge, Landon Jackson, Princely, JT Tulau. I'm gonna have to get better with that name.
Yeah.
But if we want to factor in the Miles trade here, we need an edge anyway. So we may need two now. Um, do we want to look at that and kind of see that's the route we want to go here?
I mean, even if Miles is here or not, like obviously we've talked Abdul Carter at 2. We've talked Edge at least in the first few rounds of the draft, and it's a pretty deep class. I mean, you just listed off 3 or 4 of the guys. I know you love Landon Jackson. I do too. He looked really good at the Senior Bowl. Had a strip sack on Jackson Dart during the game, and he was just so quick and explosive off the snap to get after Dart. I was very impressed with him. So he's definitely going to be in consideration here. Would love offensive tackle, even though some of the guys that we drafted in the early mock draft Mondays, and I've done in my personal mock drafts, like they're more kicking inside to be offensive guards or even centers. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's as you can see, like Wyatt Millum was a guy that we would consider at 33, and now he is slipping down the PFF board as he's a guy that might kick inside the guard. So honestly, if we want to stick to the board, Anthony, like I know you love Landon Jackson, I would have no problem turning the card in at pick 33 and picking him just because he's big, he's lengthy, he's explosive off the snap, and he generates a ton of pressure and gets after the quarterback.
6'7", 280, 22 years old, which I believe still fits the guardrails thing age wise. So, and what's interesting, Jack, there's 29 people trying to trade up to pick number 33. I know we're not doing trades, but that's always an option when you have that first pick in the second round. A lot of people give you a phone call for um, for that selection. But yeah, I'm totally cool with going Landon Jackson here and trying to rebuild this defensive line.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Landon Jackson. All right, so we
We're
do
in
have
another good spot.
yeah. I was gonna say a couple good running backs available, a couple safeties. If you want to keep on going with the defensive line, Alfred Collins here, uh, Gunnar Helm, tight end. Um, there's one couple tackles as
Yeah.
well. So, where would you want to go here? Do we want to, you know, obviously you have a new quarterback. Do you want to get another tight end? Do you want to get a running back? I really didn't see any receivers. We do have Jalen Royals here. Elijah Arroyo, had a pretty good Senior Bowl week as well. Um, do we want to try and find an offensive weapon here at one of the skill positions?
In light of the Miles Garrett stuff, there was also a report from Jonathan Jones that said that if the Browns, ultimately trade Miles Garrett and they go into like a rebuild, which is probably what's going to happen if they ultimately trade him, Joel Bitonio is considering retirement. And we just talked about Wyatt Millum, and he's probably going to be a guard at the next level. And you look, he's the best player on the board. The Browns might need a left guard. Like I know they got Zach Zinter, and they might ultimately kick him to the right side and he replaces Wyatt Teller if they go into a full blown rebuild. And I mean, I would be hard pressed to pass on Millum just because he was fantastic in college, fantastic at the Senior Bowl. But then I see those two running backs, and it would be hard pressed to pass on the Ohio State running back. So I don't know which way to go here. Like this is hard
Yeah,
because
there,
we,
there there's been a lot of talk this week about Travion maybe even being a first rounder.
yeah,
So I know Todd McShay was really hyping that up this week.
Yeah, because he's a 3 down back. He's a great blocker, and McShay highlighted that on his podcast. I mean,
That's one of the things I've always liked about Travion is he will get in there and he will block anybody. He just
oh,
seems very selfless in that aspect, and will take on just about anybody in terms of blocking.
you know who it reminds me of?
Was
It's
that
another Ohio State running back, Zeke,
Zeke?
because Zeke would do that too. And I think that's why he was such, the complete running back. And that's why he went fourth overall. And like, yeah, I could so see at the end of the first round, like a team that needs a running back. And I know it's a stacked class. I mean, Trey going the end of the first round would not be a shocker.
Yeah.
Which way would you lean here?
Uh, I would go Travion here. Uh, we don't know what's going to happen with Nick Chubb. Even if we do, not have Batonio this year, uh, you know, having maybe Zinter and Teller, as your guards for the year might be okay. Um, there still is free agency too, so they
Mm-hmm.
could look that way. I would personally go Travion. It's not because I'm wearing this sweatshirt, but this Ohio State sweatshirt. Uh, I think he's definitely a first round player to me, and like you said, he's a 3 down back, and I think that's extremely valuable and would work well with Shador in this offense.
You know what? I agree with you. Let's take Trevi on here, and hopefully there's an offensive tackle or something at 94 worth exploring.
We got a couple picks coming up here close together, 94 and 102. Uh, there's a guard available.
There is a
Uh,
guard.
guard a couple other edge players. Darius Robinson, Ashton Let. A couple of safeties, Andrew Makuba, Jonas
Kobe Bryant's there.
Kobe Bryant, who people seem to love as well. Um, interior, Jordan Phillips. Um,
He had a really good week at the Shrine Bowl. I think Jacob mentioned him last week on
yeah,
the
yeah, I
episode.
remember the name. Because I
Yeah.
had to think in my head, Jordan Phillips. Didn't we have a Jordan Phillips? I'm like, no, that was the other Phillips that we had. Um, go back a few years ago.
Jacob Phillips.
Jacob Phillips, yeah.
Yep. Can you pull up offensive tackles?
Yes.
Seems like it would be a reach. Maybe we could get one at so Jalen Rivers. Yeah, we could probably wait and get one at 103 because you said we got it close. So honestly, like we need a corner, and Kobe Bryant is small in stature, but he is, and you even got his teammate Mello Dox in there. Oh, he's 6'1". Somebody I could have sworn. Maybe I was thinking of somebody else, but I could have sworn they said he was smaller than that. What about bring up Mello Dotson real quick, his teammate.
This one, they're both about the same, and they're both older though.
Yeah, but like you've said, like these like the guardrails are definitely going to change because we have older players now because of the COVID extra COVID year. The like guys that get injured, they have extra years. Like yeah, we Ratledge I think would be in play here. There's not a wide receiver or a tight end right now. I mean I like Kobe. I mean I would take Kobe here.
Yeah, I mean you do need a corner. Greg Newsome going into last year of his deal. Uh, who
Martin
know
Emerson going in the last year of his deal.
who knows what happens with Denzel Ward after this Miles trade request. Um, so I would totally find going with you here and going corner, and maybe if Ratledge is there at the next pick, we'll take Kobe Bryant. Bryant, of course. All right. So in this spot, um,
Could go Jared Wilson.
pretty good
Great
all
in
around.
zone.
Yeah.
Great in
You
zone.
know,
Great in
They do have the kid they took from Ohio State last year. Got hurt.
That was a couple drafts ago. You talking about Whippler?
Yeah, Whippler.
Yeah, I mean
Um,
he hasn't been healthy.
right.
I think Posick is somebody that they could actually move off of this offseason, if I remember correctly.
6'3".
Like you said, he graded out really well.
Do we want to? Because we do have Jordan Phillips here. We have David Walker. Um,
Another
phenomenal.
edge.
Another edge to go on the other side.
I mean,
Excuse.
we could take Jordan Phillips here, D tackle.
So your D tackles would be Jordan Phillips, Mike Hall, for the future here.
Possibly.
I
Pull
would
it.
imagine if we start to go through this thing with Miles and he does get traded, Shelby Harris and others, it's
So you're
gonna
trying to tell me we're going back down to 131 days?
that might even be a little bit better than where we're sitting today.
Might be.
You know,
Pull up Jordan Phillips numbers. Not a lot of pressure. I mean, 10.5% pass rush win rate, good run stopper. Just not that much, not explosive as a pass rusher, like not putting up the numbers.
yeah,
So it's kind of like he had a great week in the Shrine Bowl, but
yeah, no sacks all 3 years.
that's what I'm saying. Like
Granted, it is Maryland, but still,
it is Maryland, yeah. But I mean, okay, let's see. Who did he play? Like he had a good game against Penn State, good game against Northwestern, decent game against Indiana, grade wise, and Michigan State. So I mean, it's like he was disruptive, but like maybe being with Jim Schwartz, maybe you finally get that untapped potential. But
David Walker, 16 sacks in 2022, 9, 23, and 12 and 24. Um,
the mascot looks like a generic logo from NCAA football.
no, it's just a recolor of the Bears logo that won't get copyrighted.
Can we see tight ends and wide receivers that are on the board?
My favorite thing is whoever they played this week doesn't even have a logo in
They
the
don't
system.
exist.
uh,
Phenomenal bye week for David Walker.
you said tight ends and receivers.
Yeah. Ooh, Terrence Ferguson. There's an option. Jalen Noel, another option. Torrey Horton is a guy I loved last year's draft cycle. I think Mitchell Evans is local. I wouldn't even be opposed to taking a receiver here. Like getting Shador another weapon.
Go along with obviously Jerry Judy. Elijah Moore probably won't be back. They'll probably do need a receiver.
But we got to keep Shador upright. So I can't help but go back and we draft Jared Wilson. But
I,
I'm going to leave it up to you.
I'm totally fine with that. Going O line here. Put him in the
Okay.
mix with the other guys that are here and see who wins out.
Yeah, because Posick we can get off his contract, but it would be more dead money,
Well,
and we got plenty of that. So,
and maybe he's somebody that could play guard if Batonio
well,
does
click on
retire.
him real quick. Let's see.
He
He's
play
played a
guard
little right guard,
little bit.
but yeah, maybe he can. Yeah, let's take Jared Wilson here, and then at worst he's red shirts a year behind Ethan Posick, and then 2026 he becomes the center.
Whippler played guard too, didn't he?
Um, yeah, I believe so.
Was he originally a guard and then he just kind of started playing center to help out?
Yeah, I think he slid over because of an injury.
All right. Few linebackers available here.
Cody Simon, Danny Stutzman.
Emory Jones is still on the board.
He's probably moving in. He moved inside during the Senior Bowl, so I would imagine guards in his future. John Williams, tackle from Cincinnati. Jack Nelson.
At this point, I'm more comfortable kind of going like best player, regardless of position. But if there's
Hmm,
somebody here that you really like,
yeah. I mean, I would click on Danny Stutzman. There's a guy, it was in last year's draft cycle that I really liked. Not a good coverage guy, but guy just racks up the tackles.
Yeah.
Cody Simon, we know him obviously from the Ohio State days. He's good at everything. We need a linebacker. I wouldn't. I mean,
Coverage.
Cody Simon makes sense right here.
Yeah, I'll go
Check
there.
the wide receivers real quick. Yeah, there's nobody I'd really pound the table for here.
Yeah.
I got a guy later down the board that we can take in the 6th or 7th round. But yeah, let's take Cody Simon here.
All right. Let's. Other picks coming up still.
Right.
There's still 7 selections left. All right. Couple receivers popping up.
Yeah, there's one down the board that I would take, but we got all these picks coming up. Like, I feel like he'll be there at 200 or 204.
Tight end from Iowa.
Terrible run blocker. I wouldn't mind double dipping at running back. So I seen Ollie Gordon was there.
I'm fine with that. I mean, we got 7 picks left. So,
Right.
I mean,
Yeah, let's take Ollie Gordon here. Click on tight ends. Ooh, I know exactly who to take here. Gaddison.
Addison.
Yeah, because he actually might end up being a receiver, but he was pretty good at
Yeah.
Syracuse. Okay. Uh, okay, go to wide receiver. I actually want you to watch him at some point,
Okay.
Anthony. Dante Thornton Jr. Pull up his numbers. Look at that lat. Look at this. 25 point.
5 yards per reception.
Like, obviously, a lot of people look at Brew McCoy, but this guy, like, I think he's pretty lengthy receiver too. Look on his measurables.
6'5".
Yeah, he's 6'5", and he's pretty. He after like he was hard for defenders to go.
Is this your
So
Colin Johnson?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, didn't we both like St. Brown, his brother?
I think so. Yeah.
Wasn't it EQ?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the Colin Johnson slash EQ St. Brown guy in this draft. It's
How,
Dante Thornton
how
Jr.
do we feel about these Colorado receivers as somebody who would be familiar with Shador?
Well, if we wanted to wait, LeJontay Wester would be the one, just because he shined at the, no pun intended, at the Shrine Bowl. Like, if you want an electric receiver, like that's the guy. But like, if you want the big body, I would pull the trigger on Thornton. So did we draft a safety yet?
Have not.
Okay. So we need a
Did we take
safety.
2 running backs or just one?
We did take 2 running backs.
Couple safeties: Hunter Wooler, Aubrey Burks.
Click on him.
Burks.
Yeah, we'll click on Burks and click on Wooler. Malachi Moore's there as well. Yeah, he's not a good coverage safety, so he's off the board. He allowed 3 touchdowns, but good on against the run defense. Does break up coverage. Malachi Moore. He does everything well.
We do have back-to-back picks here too. So
I'd take Malachi Moore here.
all right, do we want to look at one of those LeJontay Wester?
I would take Wester here. And we got 2 picks left.
All right.
Um, I wouldn't even be opposed to taking another quarterback here. It was Shuck. I know, was it Hennigan was at the Senior Bowl?
Quarterback, right?
Yeah. Mm, let's take Shuck here in this scenario. We'll take two quarterbacks.
This is Shook.
That guy. Yeah,
That's how
that's
you say
Shuck.
it.
That's how you pronounce his name. I'm sorry.
Okay. I was
I know.
looking
I
at
think
you all
I
confused.
you were looking for him, weren't you?
Yeah. That and then our final pick.
Mr. Irrelevant. I don't know. Yeah, I'll let you make the call on this one. We're not taking Shiloh. I'm sorry.
I was just
I don't care what Dion says. Shiloh Sanders will not be on this team as far as I'm concerned. Because he doesn't do anything.
a kicker.
Hell, Anthony, if you want to take a kicker or a punter, I'll let you.
Um,
That's another thing. If the Browns take a kicker this year, I might fight somebody.
Williams. All corner. I'll go Mac McWilliams.
Another corner.
All
I like
right.
the name, Mac McWilliams.
Gave us an F for Shador Sanders, which
Oh yeah, because you look where he's at on their board and where we took him. It's
gave
got a
us
C plus.
gave us the overall. Bottom 16% of Browns drafts.
Nice.
We got a F for Shador and an A for Tyler Shook. So it is what it is. All right. Final thoughts about this one.
I like it. I mean, obviously, we let our listeners start it for us, so they wanted us to go quarterback. We took Shador, and then felt like I like what we did at the top of the draft. Getting Landon Jackson and Trey and Kobe, and even helping the interior of the offensive line with Jared Wilson. Like, we didn't get an offensive tackle, but the class is not very strong for
Yeah.
it. So, but
These
overall, I thought we did pretty well.
these top 3 picks could all be first rounders. So theoretically, it is possible. Um, I agree. I like what we did here at the top of the draft, like you said.
Absolutely.
Right. So don't mind me the video being weird. I just accidentally dragged something off the screen and put it back, so ignore that. All right. So appreciate everybody tuning in for Mock Draft Monday. We'll be back again next week. We'll see how things are with Miles Garrett and the rest of the team. If we have more clarity for next Mock Draft Monday, we'll see. But until next time, go Browns.